Everyone, welcome to the show. I have a bunch of updates to share about Donald Trump's election interference hush money trial. Before I jump into what took place today, though, I wanted to mention that the judge apparently asked Trump's attorney the same question that I asked on Tuesday. According to the court transcript, Judge Juan Merchan asked defense attorney Todd Blanche, quote, "Why are you making this about yourself?" So remember, Blanche's first question to Michael Cohen was about him. It was about Cohen's statement in a video that Blanche was a, quote, crying little shit. And so based on the feedback that I've seen from reporters who were actually there in the courtroom, Blanche was irate. They said he was gripping the witness box and he sounded like he, quote, growled the question at Cohen. And when the judge questioned Blanche about this, he said, quote, "I'm not making it about myself, Your Honor. I have a right to show this witness's bias, and he has expressed his bias about the lawyers just because of who we represent." So the judge rightfully told him, quote, "It doesn't matter if he has bias towards you. It doesn't matter. The issue is whether he has bias towards the defendant. Just don't make it about yourself." So, as I said on Twitter, Blanche just got butthurt. You know, he seems to be just as sensitive as Trump thin skin. And then there was more feedback, too. There was a report from CNN legal analyst and attorney Norm Eisen. He was in court on Tuesday, and then he went on CNN, and here's what he had to say about the jury.
And I was watching the jury, and at different points in Cohen's testimony, you had, the jury doesn't always do this. I counted one of the things today. There was at one point 6 jurors who were nodding or smiling or agreeing with Cohen at one point in his testimony.
So could be a good sign, could be good, but, you know, keep in mind, one of the jurors said he gets his news from Donald Trump's failing social media site. So the whole case could hinge on that one guy. If he's dishonest, if he refuses to convict, even with all of this overwhelming evidence against Trump, that's it. You know, it's a hung jury. So as for today's testimony, the trial started off with Cohen back on the stand. Trump's defense attorney, Todd Blanche, continued with his cross-examination. It was long, it was drawn out, overall completely boring. He hammered Cohen about his lies to Congress and about to a previous court. Hey, here's the thing. Yes, Cohen lied to Congress for Donald Trump. Yes, Cohen lied to the court to protect his wife. You know, Cohen has admitted when he accepted his plea deal and he pleaded guilty to a variety of crimes, he said, "I was lying. I lied about committing crimes." He has said on numerous occasions he did not commit crimes, but the prosecutor threatened to charge his wife and he didn't want to put her through a prosecution. So they're trying to make this guy look bad for lying about committing crimes. It's so backwards. It's one thing to lie about not committing crimes when you did. I mean, it's one thing to go commit a crime and then lie and say, "Oh, no, I didn't do anything," like what Trump is doing. But lying and saying, "Yep, I committed crimes," when in fact you did not, how does that make you a terrible person? When you did it to protect someone you love. And according to journalists who were inside the courtroom, the jurors appeared to be bored. This was just dragging on for a while. They said, you know, they were losing interest. And then Blanche also questioned Cohen at length about his desire to work in the White House. And by all accounts, Cohen was very self-deprecating in his answers, especially. He admitted, yeah, I initially wanted the job of chief of staff, or I wanted to be attorney general. And he said it was, quote, "for my ego." So he's admitting it. And then Blanche tried to undermine Cohen's credibility again. there was a phone call that he harped on for a while in which Cohen had said that he had this conversation with Trump, specifically on this day, and it was regarding Stormy Daniels. But Blanche claimed Cohen only spoke with Trump's bodyguard, Keith Schiller, and it was about a completely different topic. It was about these harassing phone calls that Cohen was receiving. So the problem the defense has is they're not calling Keith Schiller. He's not a witness in this case. So Trump's attorney is making this claim without a witness to back it up. And as other people pointed out, other legal experts, Cohen had all kinds of calls with Trump. Could he have gotten the date mixed up? Could he have had that conversation around that same time and one of the other numerous calls he had? Yeah, it's possible. It's possible he got his dates mixed up. The fact is, you have all these other people. You've got David Pecker, you've got Stormy Daniels, you've got Keith Davidson, all these people who are corroborating Michael Cohen's story that there was a cover-up in place about the Stormy Daniels story and Karen McDougal, and that Trump wanted to cover it up for the campaign. That's a simple fact. So I'm sure the prosecutor is going to really bring that home in their closing argument. That part of the testimony, though, this whole back and forth about this phone call, it did appear to wake up the jury because apparently Todd Blanche just got really boisterous and loud, and he's like, "You're lying!" And yeah, had he thought his Perry Mason moment. But according to people watching the proceedings, yeah, the jury kind of woke up because he's normally very soft-spoken, and so he started thundering in court. But then, right as he was getting going and really getting all juiced up, the judge said, "Oh, it's time for lunch." So they went to lunch. They came back in. Then the judge gave Trump's attorneys a bit of a spanking, but mostly Todd Blanche, or only Todd Blanche, I should say, because earlier in the day, early in the testimony, Todd Blanche insinuated that Cohen had some sort of inappropriate relationship with one of the investigators in his case, and that it led to Cohen learning of and leaking news of Trump's indictment to the press. So the prosecutor raised this issue with the judge, and the judge made Blanche clean this up with the jury because, in fact, Cohen never mentioned Trump's indictment until after he heard about it in the news. So Blanche was forced to bring that to the jury's attention, which I'm sure wasn't pleasant, probably didn't make Trump too happy. And then the cross-examination went on after that. It was equally boring. Cohen didn't dispute much of what was brought up by Blanche in regard to his false statements. He just, "Yes, sir. Yes, I did that." And it was almost as if Blanche, at one point, was making the prosecutor's case for them because he went into this lengthy back and forth with Cohen regarding the fact that Cohen never before had a retainer agreement with Trump and with the Trump organization because he was a salaried employee for the company. How that helps Trump's defense, his case, I have no idea. It's just bizarre. In any case, they're not done yet. They did not finish the cross-examination, so there is no trial tomorrow, as I mentioned earlier this week, because Trump is supposedly attending his son's graduation. So Cohen will be back on the stand on Monday. There will be more cross-examination, and then the prosecutor will likely do a redirect. So it means we're probably going to have another couple days before it goes to the jury. The judge did mention after he released the jury today that he told the attorneys on both sides, be ready to give your summation on Tuesday. So closing arguments, he's planning for on Tuesday. And then the defense is still hemming and hawing as to whether or not they're going to call any witnesses whatsoever. Sounds like case might get to the jury by Wednesday. And, I'm sure they don't want to sit there over the weekend trying to come to a conclusion. So maybe we might have a decision by the end of next week. We'll see. All right. I will let you all know as soon as I hear more on Monday. Thank you so much for watching and listening. Please like, share, and subscribe. Please donate if you can. Love you all. Take care. Talk with you soon.